All right, so this is Horchata. If you're new, welcome to the channel. You know what to do, like, subscribe, and all that. And for all of you old heads that have been sticking around for me, and you OGs, well then, cheers to 2021 and another year of music and this channel. Cheers to consistency, hopefully this year. But before I start, I just wanna, I feel like I need to do this because it feels wrong of me to not address what happened to MF Doom. And man, well, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you guys know, but he died. He passed away. And thank you, MF Doom, for your music. And this channel loves you. I love this channel because if it wasn't for this channel, I wouldn't know who MF Doom was. Last year, this channel was almost like an MF Doom channel at one point. As an honor to MF Doom, I don't know why people do this. I've never done this, but I'm gonna just do it for him, even though I shouldn't do this to the floors, but rest in peace, MF Doom. And now, a little moment of silence for MF Doom. And now, back with the program to my top 20 albums of 2020. And fair warning, it's my top 20, all right? My top 20. So if you think this list is basic, well, then I don't care. I mean, it's my list. I actually want to know what you guys' list is. So drop it down below. If comment your top 5, top 20, top 10 albums of 2020. Oh, and also I'm gonna miss a lot of albums this year. Some of those albums include RTJ4. I did not listen to that. The Phoebe Bridgers one, I did not listen to that. The Clippings, Visions of Bodies Being Burned. The Sawayama one, I saw it in plenty of album lists. That's not on here. And the Charlie XCX. All right, my number 20 is Juice WRLD's Legends Never Die. Now, I know a lot of people think this is mid, and it's a little mid, but it's still my top 20 because I think it's a great tribute to Juice WRLD. And what else could I say about this guy? I am deeply regretful of what I said. I think it was like 2 years ago. I think it was before he released his second album or right after the Psychodrama Dave review. I was like, yo, today I am in a good mood and I'm not feeling the heartbreak type music right now. And in all honesty, he's pretty overrated. Yes, I'm talking about Juice WRLD. And no, I am not gonna listen to a 22 song album. Anyways, I finally gave him a chance. His music just grew on me, and here I am, putting it in my top 20. If it was his second album, it would be higher, but this one it's an alright. It's not that good of a album in general, but as a posthumous album and a tribute to Juice WRLD, it came out pretty good. And also in this list, I'm gonna name like a song or two that I like off of each project. So if you haven't listened to it, then you should listen to these songs. The song that I'll be like naming, it kind of introduces you to the sound of the album. So if you don't like the songs that I mentioned, it's most likely you won't like the album. So the songs that I chose is Wishing Well and Righteous. If you guys listen to those two songs and you don't like it, it's most likely you might not like the project. So next one, number 19 is No Pressure by Logic. Yeah, I think this is like a continuation of Under Pressure, which is one of his best projects, studio albums. All his albums have been lackluster in my opinion. I was a big fan in my childhood, and he kind of fell off for me. And I guess I'm not a fan anymore, but I had to check this album out because it's his retirement project or something. I don't think he's actually gonna retire, but I was just curious, so I give this a listen, and I was like, wow, this is like the old Logic, and and not necessarily that I want the old Logic. I just want the Logic that tries, and
it feels like he put a full good effort on this. So I gotta give him his props. Number 18 is Eternal Take. Now, I was not expecting this one. It's kind of a guilty pleasure of mine. I'm not big on Lil Uzi for, but this time, the album grew on me. I like this project. Like the bouncy video game type beats just work on this. And number 17, Bad Bunny's YHL. It's an acronym for Yo hago lo que se me da la gana, which is I do whatever I want. And this album of Bad Bunny's is all over the place. Cohesively speaking, it's so out of place. The track listing is out of order. But boy, this is filled with anthems. And especially if you're like a Hispanic like I am, and like you've gone to Mexico, and I went to Mexico, but every restaurant I went, everywhere, they just had this album all over the place. I also remember going in the car with my cousins. They put the aux, all Bad Bunny. That whole album was on repeat. It was like this song. It was on shuffle. Okay, and the songs that I recommend, you should at least listen to some of the songs, even though you're not a Hispanic speaker. Is La Santa, Vete, or Si Veo Tu Mamá. So next one is Mac Miller's Circles. Another posthumous album here, if not the best posthumous album, if in my opinion. It's like if he went back to Earth to make this album for us, and he dropped it. This is an album that when I was finished with the album, I was like, man, I'm never listening to this ever again, and not because it was bad, because it hits in your feels like. Uh, it even got me talking in Spanish. I just said, I know. My cousin from Florida, pretty crazy dude. But, I mean, what isn't crazy in Florida? But he came to Cali, he came to my house to visit, and he was like, yo, what type of, like, songs, what type of artists do you like? And I'm like, and that was, like, back when I would, like, I didn't listen to music at the time. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what my favorite artist is. Like, I don't know what I even listen to. Like, I guess I just didn't listen to music. It was weird. I was so young. He was like, for real? You don't listen to anybody? Like, you don't like an artist, like a rapper or something? And I'm like, what's a rapper? He was like, you don't know? You haven't listened to rap? So a snapback, right? He made like a snapback trick. It was Mac Miller. He did it in a music video. And he was just showing me a bunch of like music videos from Mac Miller. And I was like, wow, I kind of like it. And I guess I just said, I was like, oh, I guess I'm a Mac Miller fan now, because I just wanted to, like, I don't know, get into rap. And that was like the only person I got into at first. So, fun fact, Mac Miller is actually my first rapper, I guess. My first, yeah, my first rapper that I liked. So, my recommended song for that album is Good News. It's a single from that album, and yeah, let's just not talk about this, man. I want to continue, man. All right, Savage Mode 2 is my next album. I mean, this thing was narrated by Morgan Freeman. What else? What else do you want? All right, it is a trap masterpiece, and I'll stand by that. The only thing that lacked is, well, like one song, and I guess the album cover kind of sucks. Other than that, it's a pretty solid album. 21 Savage did what Cardi should have done, which is stay with his day one producer, his producer that fits his style the most. In Cardi's case, it was Pierre, and 21 Savage, it was Metro Boomin, and together they just fit. I don't know. I just can't imagine another production on 21 Savage's cold flow. It's what made me get one of these. And the recommendation song is Glock in My Lap. It sounds better in Spotify, but when he was like, I'll spray the whole neighborhood, I was like, I felt like I was about that life for like 45 minutes. It was a great album. And the next album is Heaven to a Tortured Mind. Now this album is insane. The thing that I didn't like, Illuminati imagery in like the music videos. Other than that, the music was great. This is what I wrote. This album sounds very Prince inspired, but with its own style. The instrumentals get chaotic and obnoxious at times, but in a good way. They do. Every song sounds unique in comparison to one another, but with the same aesthetic, and it makes the album have a consistent sound. Didn't pay much attention to the lyrics, but that's almost every rock album. I don't really pay too much attention to the lyrics. I get carried away with the guitar, with the drums, with everything else. So next album is by Natalia Lafourcade, Un Canto por México. Now, this is a Spanish album, but if you don't know any Spanish, still listen to this. Now, the first song, I say it sucks. It didn't grow on me at all. The more I listened to the album, it didn't sound right. But if you take that song out, the first song, and then you just listen to it, then it's pretty good. So yeah, if you don't know any Spanish, still give it a try. If you don't know who La Forcade is, she's basically like the Taylor Swift of Mexico, but way better, in my opinion. This made me want to like pick up the guitar and get guitar lessons because it's just so beautiful. The acoustic guitar, the way they finger pick, and it's just crazy. And her voice is just so delicate and angelic. And I recommend the song Veracruz. That song is about the place where she grew up in, and it's also where my parents grew up in. And I don't know, I feel some type of way about that song. I like it. And the next one is Taylor Swift, Folklore. She's usually like more to the mainstream pop and everything, but I guess quarantine did her well because she got to be more artistic, just like Natalia Lafourcade. And I never thought I would actually like a Taylor's. I mean, I liked 1989. Other than that, Taylor Swift hasn't been my cup of tea, but this one hits different. And I recommend Invisible String and Mirror Ball. Those are my favorite songs from that. Next one is Limbo by Amine. This dude has never missed. His beats are fantastic, like always, his rapping. But like Amine is heavily underrated. Like this dude is dropping bangers after banger. This album is catchy. It delivers bars. It's good. What else could I say? In tracks like Decide, he shows off his singing ability, which has also been getting better. Like all he does is get better and get better. I recommend he doesn't shy away from his singing tracks or from his singing in general. So far, this dude is undefeated. You should listen to the intro track for this album. If you don't like that song, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna like the rest. If you don't like Burden, I don't know what to do. And next one is Nostalgia Ultra. This is a pop classic already, in my opinion. This is like Emotions by Carly Rae Jepsen, one of my favorite pop records of all time. It's just what pop should sound like. Like this is good pop. You know, when this came out, I was like gonna listen to it, but I had to take my cousins in my car to an aunt's house, and it was like an hour away. So I was like, all right, and they're all girls. You know, they're like, I don't know, 16, 15 years old. I don't even know their ages. All I know is that they were in the back seat, and I was like, yo, what should I put on the aux? One of the cousins said, oh, put Dua Lipa. I like Dua Lipa. And I was like, oh, okay, let's put Dua Lipa. So I put Dua Lipa on, but the other album, I was like, wait, the new album came out. Do you guys want to listen to that? And they're like, it came out? Oh, all right, then put it in. And then I put it in. All of them fell asleep. And I was in the front just listening to this while driving. I was like, yo, this is good. And I caught myself like kind of singing along to it. And I was like, yo, this is like, why am I listening to this? Is this for girls? Like girls with like boy problems. Or I don't know. It just, but it's that good. Like I said, it reminds me of Emotions by Carly Rae Jepsen. I feel like they should collaborate. If they do a collab tape, they'll probably drop the best pop album of all time. Next one is by Travis Scott's protege, Don Toliver, Heaven or Hell. This album's production is just so spacey. It's the type of album you want to listen to on your way home. And I don't know if it's just me, but doesn't this guy sound like Akon? It sounds like if Akon never stopped making music, but he just got the skills of Travis Scott and learned how to edit his voice and do his like own production. So anyways, his voice is great. His production is even better. It's great length, you know, because it's pretty short. It doesn't overstay. It's pretty good. And if you haven't listened to him, give him a chance. Now, a recommendation song is After Party, and No Idea. The the main two. If you don't like the songs, you might not like the album. Next one is by Perfume Genius, Set My Fire Immediately. Set My Fire? Set My Heart on Fire. This is my first Perfume Genius album ever, and I was blown away. The intro song to this is, it's called Whole Life. This guy used violins and like classical music type like instruments. Like, who uses violins anymore? But this guy used it all. Like, he used it all. He meshed like R&B with like classical music, and like, uh, where do you categorize this dude? Like, what is this? What genre is this dude in? I don't know. I don't know who he is. All I know is that the melon likes him. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him a try finally in 2020. And boy, am I happy I tried his his music. It was a little sip, and I loved it. I listened to the whole album after the first song. It's kind of a slow paced album. I don't recommend like listening to it while you guys are in a hurry. Listen to it when you're alone in your room. Turn off the lights, put on good premium headphones. I'm pretty sure you'll be blown away. And just let your thoughts roam free. Insane. Next one is Man on the Moon 4. I mean 3. Man on the Moon 3. This is the first Man on the Moon. To me, this is a classic. And Man on the Moon 3 is kind of, people have mixed feelings because they kind of expected the Man on the Moon like 1. They expected the sound of 20 years back to come back. I wasn't with that expectation because I was like, times change, his sound changes, and the sound right now is kind of like trappy, hi-hats, 808s, and that is what this album starts on. It starts pretty weak in my opinion, but it just gets better with time. It gets better as the album progresses. If you like Cudi, you'll like this album. If you don't, you most likely won't. Next is Beta Lago by Wizkid. I was driving in on the street. I got on a red light and I was bumping that album. I was like vibing on it. My windows were down. It was like a sunny day. There were black folks on the side of me. And then I saw them. I looked to the right and they were like, are they gonna be offended for like that I'm a white guy listening to Afro beat type music? Like, I don't know. I almost felt racist listening to to this type of music. But they looked at me and they're like, and then they're like, hey, and I was like, hey. So in conclusion, Wizkid is for the people. Music is for the people. It doesn't matter what culture you are. You could listen to African artists. I think Wizkid is African, right? All I know is that I've been listening to his music since One Dance. Next album is Alfredo by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. This album is crazy good. Probably the best hip hop. Arguably, no, 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 not arguably. It's the best hip hop project of this year, in my opinion. And fun fact, it's my first time listening to Freddie Gibbs. After this, I was like, yeah, I have to react to the Pinata, the zebra looking album, and all his other albums because I heard that they were good. All right, let me tell you about the instrumentals of this album. Oh my, this album is just luscious. It has luscious piano. Like, it's so beautiful, so perfect. This album is handcrafted by bumblebee honey and snake oil. I don't know what that means, but it's so it's it's with the exception of the last song that I still don't like that much. Other than that, this album is, it transitions very well. So as a recommendation song, just listen to the whole album. But if you guys want to know what this album sounds like, listen to Scotty Beam and Something to Rap About featuring Tyler the Creator. There you go, Tyler the Creator. Next one is A Slow Rush by Tame Impala. Now hear me out. If anybody offers me any psychedelic, I'll be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. But if it was Sean Parker telling me, yo, let's try these out, let's go to the beach and let's listen to my songs or one of my albums, I'll be like, say less. This album was a grower, not a shower. No homo. I was expecting like a lonerism type album, but this is more on like the currents side, which I still like currents. I love currents, but I was like expecting something else. So this album didn't click for me right away, but to me as a longtime fan, I'm pretty pleased. His voice is angelical, like always. It's dreamy, it's psychedelic. Actually, not psychedelic enough, but enough to get the job done and keep fans happy. And number two on my list, which isn't really number two because it changes. My number one and my number two changes. It's like this. One week it's this one, and the other week it's the other one. All right, I'm just gonna say them both. All right, The New Abnormal by The Strokes and After Hours by The Weeknd. When I'm feeling happy, the Weeknd album is a little less, and when I'm kind of feeling down, it's the Weeknd one. I feel like the Weeknd would have been my number one, like definitely, if I would have gotten my heart broken. 2020 was a pretty good year for me, love wise. I love the album, but it just doesn't resonate to me. But the Strokes album, wow, what an album! It sounds so different to what they've previously done, but it still feels like it's their sound. Just the album cover art, the title, the way I just enjoyed it from front to finish. It was just a breath of fresh air. I missed the Strokes, and they were on a drought. They didn't release anything for a while, and they came back with a banger. This album contains one of my favorite songs from 2020. Just listen to Selfless. If you don't like Selfless, just nah. We can't be friends. So that was it. My top two albums. I don't think anyone has like two number ones, but it's my list. I could do whatever I want, all right? I don't have number two, so I just have two number ones, all right? The New Abnormal when I'm feeling this, and then the other one. It changes, all right? Oh my god, I skipped an album on this list. It was Unlocked by Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats. This is number six. It's 17 minutes, no fat to trim, nothing. Everything is essential. Recommendation songs is Layup. So that was my top 20 albums of 2020, and on to 2021. Let's just hope there's good music this year. Comment down below your favorite albums. This is HORCHATA signing off. Like, subscribe, and